nervous system and supporting our body, the allostatic load that actually causes us to be stressed and causes us to be ill. It helps us to settle. May we always remember those who've gone before us. May we always remember those who've gone before us. May we be inspired by their vision and their valor. May their lives continuously remind us that service is more important than success, that people are more important than possessions, and that principle is more important than power. May whatever we do be shaped and molded by respect, integrity, humility, competence, clarity of purpose, compassion, and commitment. We are children and our children's children carry forth with pride the nobility of the histories that are represented here and in our community and wherever people are, and the various traditions that are represented in this circle. To the creator of all of us, whatever name we may call that creator, we dedicate our lives to making this world better and more beautiful and more safe for those of our people. For our people. So I'd like to pour now. And as I pour, I'd like to invite you to call the names of anybody that you would like to invite to come and sit with us this evening. Call Elder Louis. Can you get someone? Anyway, can you hold this plant for me? No? It's okay. We shouldn't, she says no, and we gotta honor her. Thank you. Thank you. We call her Elder Louis. And when I pour, we say ensa, meaning to drink. Ensa, 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 ensa. Ensa, drink. Ensa. 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 Okay. And when we call one, we call them all, and we say, normally I would pour until this is done, but I can't. This plant and this poor little thing, it's, yes. So when we call one, we call them all, and we say, Madasi, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so very much, Sister Chris. We appreciate that welcome. We know our ancestors are happy. I want to recognize Councilor Bravo, who is here, a strong force in City Council. She's somewhere here. Yay! Thank you so very much, Councilor Bravo. We appreciate your support. And Councilor Boyd sends his regrets. He's the chair of the Confront Operations Advisory Committee. So I wanted to make sure that I shared that with each of you. We're really grateful to have Mayor Chow with us tonight. She has been a steadfast supporter of the action plan, and she's here to share her thoughts on the city's ongoing commitment to confronting anti-Black racism. Welcome, Mayor Chow.
Hey, good afternoon, good evening. Come on. Good evening. Much better. Thank you for being here. Yes, 2017, historic 5-year plan. Right now, there's a big task ahead of us because through the consultation in April, there are a wall of good ideas up on the board. And you know what we need? we need to know how many kids are employed at the Parks and Recreation Center right now as leaders. How many black kids? Not enough. How many do we have now? Do we know? We need to know. How many black kids are getting Parks and Rec free programs? Not enough, but I know it's not enough. What is it now? What do we want for next year? A lot more. How many more? Yes, many more. But if we don't have the figures, we don't set targets, no one would be responsible. Because you don't see measure results, right? We know that you have to see results, measurable results, and we can say, yeah, that's a 30% increase. That there are from this number plus, next year when we come back together after the 10-year action plan that adopted, we then need to track every year. Have we moved ahead on number of kids hired, recreation programs, space, a number of network? There's huge number of, are they still being suspended? Are they not being suspended? Are they graduating more or less? We need to know. Because having a plan is great. Government officials like me can say, I have a 10-year anti-black racism plan. Oh, wow, looks great, good photos, nice report. You know what, I've been around a long time. I've seen reports on anti-black, like I can name, right? Alvin Curling, Stephen Lewis, yeah, many of you are nodding. Yeah, some of you that are on as old as I am would remember all of those reports. Guess what? Quite a lot of them are brilliant, except there's no implementation plan. Or that they have the implementation plan, it just got gathered dust. Not good enough, because I've been around too long. I've seen too many reports. I've seen too many action plans. I've seen many promises, but if you cannot measure the results, then the community won't know how to push. And I want to encourage you, this is the good time. You know why? Because yesterday I just announced a budget consultation plan. Sometimes action requires some money, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. It requires money. Well, who gets the most money? Who should get the most money? Are there more folks that are being housed on the waiting list? Are there more people that are getting affordable housing that are black? We don't know. Right? We need to know. We need to measure results. We need to set targets every year, every 5 years, and 10 years. What is our vision? What is what we want? Generally, we know we want kids to grow up happy, grow up joyous, have wonderful programs, and achieve magnificent things on culture, on heritage, in medicine, in school, in different arts, sports, you name it. We know how do we get there. That is your job, to help the city, to help our staff, whether it's the library, parks and rec, in every group, economic development, housing, shelter, you name it, we need to be accountable to you. And this is what the action plan can do. Set targets, you get report cards every year, this is what we've done. Good enough, not good enough. A or D or F. We need to know. Okay? So my challenge to you is this. At this time when we start doing the consultation, often people that are most voiceless do not get heard. And what we need to do is make sure that your voice and the people you represent, because there's a whole lot of people you represent, their voice gets heard in this budget consultation. so that even before the action plan comes out, the 10-year action plan, we begin to see progress. We begin to invest in a lot of the things you talked about that I saw putting out, whether space, grants program, or entrepreneurship, better hiring, better education, all those things. We want to start seeing results. We want to see the investment. So participate. If it doesn't work in terms of the timing and the meeting, we'll set one up separately, right? And so that your voice are heard, not just on the 10-year action plan, but how in this coming year that the City of Toronto are going to invest so that we continue to break down the barriers that are set up, systemic racism. We begin to break it down and do so much more because we can, and we know that we will accomplish a great deal of the elimination of anti-Black racism by working together. So I'm extremely encouraged to see all of you here. I'm very encouraged and inspired by all the things that you said since April. Let us work together and make all those dreams, vision, targets a reality. Thank you and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mayor Chow. We hear your call to action. So now it is my great pleasure to introduce Denise Andrew Campbell, Executive Director of Social Development, Finance, and Administration, the division that houses the Confront Anti-Black Racism Unit. She will set the stage for this evening by providing some key insights for grounding us in our discussion here. Welcome, Denise Andrew Campbell.
Good evening. In 2017, on I think it was a Saturday afternoon, we gathered in this space, community. We had roundtables at that time with the boards. You guys see you nodding. With the boards put up to check in, like we're gonna do tonight, on what we heard and what we were prepared to do as a city in partnership with community. So it's a beautiful thing to stand in front of you again. 5 years into that journey, on the eve of extending that work 10 more years. So I welcome you tonight, because what we can do together is quite powerful and impactful. So as you heard, my name is Denise Andrea Campbell, and I'm the Executive Director of Social Development Division. And not only do I have the honor of leading a division that houses the Confronting Anti-Black Racism work, but with our partners to have been able to create a space in this organization within our city to actually name this work and to do this work. We are so excited for you to be here today in this event, as we are here to continue co-creating lasting and transformative change for Black communities across our city. The Toronto Action Plan to confront anti-Black racism has always been more than a strategy. It is a living commitment to uproot the deep-seated systemic barriers that continue to harm and marginalize Black residents, and to ensure concrete opportunity and access to the quality of life in this city. And I think in the past 5 years, we've moved the needle and we've created some important change. This work continues to be urgent and important. So I want to thank you for being here this evening to help us build the new 10-year plan for action. Like all important social development here in the city, we begin with community. Through the work of the Confronting Anti-Black Racism Unit, the city has begun engagement with over 5,000 Black residents across Toronto, partnering with 30 Black-led organizations this time around. We've heard from Black youth, Black seniors, LGBTQ plus communities, refugee claimants, and so many others. The themes and priorities raised through these conversations, housing, health and well-being, community safety, employment, and youth development, are not new. They echo the deep and enduring calls for equity and justice and opportunity that Black communities have been calling for generations. What we heard most clearly is that while there has been progress since we embarked on the last plan, many Black residents still do not feel some of those changes in their day-to-day lives. The new 10-year action plan must be grounded in deepening systemic transformation so that it can be felt in real and relevant ways. Since the launch of the original 5-year plan in 2017, we've made important strides. Over $33 million has been invested cumulatively in key opportunities, policies, and services, like the Toronto Community Crisis Service that just became citywide, that started as a call from this community. The Black Food Sovereignty Plan that is supporting Black-led farmers and Black-led food advocates, and supports for a variety of Black-led organizations through the Black-led mandated funding framework. Through this work, we have impacted thousands of lives and began addressing some of the systemic challenges that create disparities in outcomes for Black Torontonians. But as we all know, the work is far from over, and we just heard our mayor challenging us to go deeper. We are facing the convergence of crises, housing affordability, mental health, ongoing impacts of anti-Black racism in education, policing, and healthcare. These challenges require us to take a collective response with a sense of urgency, but also with thoughtfulness and intention. As the proverb goes, if you want to go fast, go it alone. And if you want to go farther, go together. Tonight is about ensuring that we go far together and that the solutions that we build are deeply rooted and sustainable. As the city closest to the people, residents expect much from the city of Toronto, and they should. But the city delivers real change best when we are leveraging our distinct powers in order to drive that change. So I want to just name some of those powers. The city is an employer. We're able to create pathways to good, stable jobs, develop better employment equity initiatives, and cultivate a public service that both understands and disrupts anti-Black racism and invests in Black talent and Black leadership. The city is a policymaker and a regulator, able to develop and enforce policies that build more inclusive and equitable communities, which creates equitable opportunities and shapes the way that our neighborhoods feel, allowing residents to grow and thrive in their local communities. We are a procurer of goods and services, spending $2.5 billion on contracts in 2023 alone. This gives us the ability to target investment and economic opportunities for Black businesses and entrepreneurs. We're also a service provider, delivering basic needs from water to solid waste collection, delivering programs for maternal health initiatives, COVID-19 response, vaccinations, employment programs, community crisis supports, museums, parks, and so much more. And I just want to acknowledge and thank my colleagues from across those service areas for being here tonight. And finally, we are a respected convener of other governments, businesses, diverse sectors, and leaders here in Toronto, Ontario, and beyond, fostering change through dialogue and through strategic partnerships and advocacy. The city also increases public awareness through the platform of with our mayor, our councilors, and other efforts of targeted education campaigns. So alongside these many important levers that we have, I also need to acknowledge that we have many limitations, especially in some of the areas where Black communities need them most. These are in direct services and policies in areas like health, education, and child welfare, where other governments hold the levers for change, including resources to invest. In these areas, we need increased intergovernmental collaboration and leadership to invest in those change and measure impact. We particularly need partnerships with the province to make some of these changes real and to ensure we do not set targets that we as a city cannot achieve on our own. However, I think we also need to know that solutions to these challenges cannot come from any government acting alone. Community leadership is the cornerstone of this process, and it has been from the very beginning. Your experiences, your wisdom, your vision that will shape the work as we move forward. As we continue to build a renewed plan, our commitment is to do this work with you, not for you. So we are keen tonight to hear your reflections and how we approach these targets and how we can continue to ensure, lift up, and support community leadership. Your voices are central to ensuring that the policies and programs we develop reflect the real needs in our community and support the real assets of Black communities. The feedback we gather here tonight will be instrumental in refining the priority outcomes and will be the backbone of the new 10-year plan. Your participation ensures that this is not a top-down, in City Hall only process. Initially, we had anticipated that we would complete this plan and bring to council by the end of the year. However, in the spirit of doing this work right and going far, making sure that every voice is heard, we've extended the timeline. The finalized plan will now go to City Council in the spring of next year. We understand the urgency in community, and we feel it too. But we also know that meaningful, sustainable change takes time. And we must balance the urgency to act with the necessity to get this right, so that our solutions that we have put into place aren't just quick fixes, but have lasting impact. We're trying to impact a generation here. And when we finalize the plan development, we will continue to make real change, relevant progress with concrete legacies that are felt in the daily lives of Black Torontonians. So tonight, I encourage you to speak up, to ask questions, to challenge the assumptions, and to contribute your ideas. This is not only a moment to reflect, it is a moment to build. Together, we can ensure that the next decade is marked by progress that we can see, feel, and be proud of. I want to thank you for taking your time to be here, for your voice, your commitment to this work. Let's continue moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Denise, for those insights. Now we're going to move into one of the most important parts of this evening, our fireside chat. This discussion will explore how far we've come, the lessons learned from the first 5 years, and how we can collectively move forward in the next decade. We'll focus on the significant impacts of the original action plan and highlight what our renewed strategy must address to keep pushing for real sustainable change. We'll hear from a panel of brilliant and dedicated leaders who have been deeply involved in the development of the action plan. Now, we are having a bit of a set change, so we're going to invite our panelists to grace us with some tunes while we do that. Shouldn't take long. Leona, thank you so very much while you play while we set up.